everyone, today we are talking about bra fit. Today we are going to be discussing what a proper bra looks like for pumping success, what it looks like when your bras are not quite right but they're close and how to alleviate that, and then lastly how to also measure for your bras and get the proper fit. So jumping right in, we're going to discuss a properly fitted bra and wearables. For my test, I'm going to be using the LV, but as you can tell, this is the Davin and Adley Ella bralette. It is the busty size. I am on the smaller of that size. These cups are technically too tall, so that is a downside to this, but everything else fits really well. When we're looking at our bras, we want to make sure that this band, which is all this right here, is flat and up against the rib cage. We want to make sure it is not tugged down or pushing up, that it's just laying flat. There's nothing spilling out here. Of course, you'll see my tank top on under this, but there's no spillage happening. I'm not bubbling out the top or through the sides. So when we're checking your bra, just to see if it even fits, you're going to grab the band, so it's a really thick band here, and you're going to pull out as hard as you can. This is on the loosest setting for me. I can't get it, I'm right at an inch. But I can't get it further than that, and to get it to an inch, I'm like really tugging on it. Some moms, they try to go the easy route, and they just barely tug on it. And at that point, as y'all can tell, like, it's not going anywhere. But when we do this test, you want to really push that band. So really see, how far are we actually getting it? If you're over 1.5 inches when you pull this band out, your band is too large. Whether it fit before and it just stretched out, or it never fit. At that point in time, you know, okay, I need to remeasure and get a better bra for support. Because when we're pumping, all of the support is in this band. A lot of people think that the cups are the important feature. It's really not. It's the band. Okay, so I did want to talk about 2 different options right now with how you've got your wearables in. This is great for wearable pumps or cups. But as you can see, I have one that is in front of the lace here. This is the LV. And have another that's behind the lace. When we're discussing pumping with the wearables and your bra is a 2-layered system, putting it in between the layers is actually not the correct way to do it. So you're losing support that way. What bra companies actually want you to do is put it in behind that second layer. That way it's fully supported. So when we put things in between the layers, it doesn't actually support fully, because this mesh or lining that you have inside of your bra is actually the most supportive part. The cups are that final piece that kind of like adds the compression and the smoothing and everything else. But that interior lining is that critical factor. So when you have that 2-layer system, be sure to set your pumps or your cups in the back, up against the breast with no fabric in between. Fabric in between your breast and the pump can also create pump errors, especially with pumps that are more finicky like Willow. The pumps are now in. You can tell that my straps are tight when I lift on them. I've got some lift, but not a bunch. So let's go from there. At this point, the band is still flat. I'm still tugging on it. It's still about the same. Next, you're going to do the leaning test. So when we do the leaning test, we're looking to see, are the pumps moving in? Are they pulling away from the body? So is the top over here starting to pull away? Things of that nature are going to cause alignment to be off. It'll hinder your milk output. And at that point, it's typically going to damage the pump and your breast tissue. So you would just lean forward and lean up. The pumps did not move. That is what we're looking for a properly fitted bra that is completely supportive for your pumps. So now I am in the Davin and Adley Amelia Cami. This is actually a very comfortable bra, and most moms really enjoy the fit of it. The issue with the Amelia Cami is it's been out for a very long time. There's many sizes and colors of this, but it wasn't really tailored for the busty sizes of moms. So now there is a busty line that has come out. She's working to expand that for moms since it is her bestseller. But as you can tell, this one is not the busty bra. This is her typical sizing. It is a medium. And it's a medium because I needed that for my bust size, but the band size is actually really big. So just looking at it, you wouldn't necessarily think that it's improperly fitted. If we roll up this top panel, this inner layer is the supportive side. And when we pull that out, you can tell this is more than 1.5 inch gap. This is a lot of space. And even though the top layer adds that support, I can still pull it out a lot. So what does that mean for your wearable pumps or even your flanges? Because this can be used with flanges. We've already seen what the LVs look like in the Ella bralette, which does properly fit me. So what does it look like in the Amelia? Well, if we lay things down, it doesn't necessarily scream like, oh, I don't think that bra fits. But when we pick this up, as you can tell, right in here, this is completely pulled away from my rib cage. This is actually now sitting on my breast tissue and up under on the pumps. It's not actually down on my ribs the way it's supposed to be. So already, that's how we know it doesn't fit. But you do the bra fit check, and honestly, I could probably slide my LVs right out from under there. So this band does not support. As soon as I start pumping, they're going to get heavier. They're going to start pulling further down. At that point, you're just praying that your band can hold on just long enough for you to finish pumping before your pumps come falling out. Now, on the straps, I'm not going to loosen them completely, but as you can tell, there is a lot of room in these straps. So now when we do the leaning test, you can see they're slightly moving a little more than they were with the Ella. If we really loosen the straps all the way to where these straps are really doing nothing for you, then again, they're coming together. And you can even see whenever I stand up, these pumps are getting closer and closer together. Now, they're to the point where they're completely pulled away from the breast, and they're kind of lopsided. As you can tell, this one's drooping, and this one's starting to come in. So this is an example of it's close, but it's not quite right. So how do I plan to fix this? I'm actually going to end up taking in the band, because that's one of the beautiful things about the Amelia Cami, is you can sit here and alter this bra to an extent to have it custom fitted for you, or you can take it to a seamstress. So there will be a future video out on how to make this bra fit me. And the last bra that I'm going to show you today is the Dairy Fairy Sydney 2.0. So I am at the smallest of their size range, and this band is tightened all the way up. So as you can tell, it's too large for me, truly. But when it's laying down up against my body, it doesn't necessarily scream, that doesn't quite fit right. You also need to keep in mind that I am wearing a compression tank up under this. So still, while it's starting to pull away from the ribs here, it's not quite there yet. As far as side, you can tell that for my particular breast shape, I do have some hanging out here off onto the sides where not all of the bust is being supported. However, we have this really tall fabric here. This is great for true busty moms that can feel the top and it just looks like you just kind of have melons on your chest. This bra is great for that because it provides that extra coverage and support. The great thing about the Sydney 2.0 is this section here is actually very supportive, which makes it great for pumping and wearable pumps. But at the top, if these go too high on you, like it does for myself, that can actually hinder your pumping experience. Another great feature about the Dairy Fairy bras is they have these two clips here that is especially designed just for wearable pumps. So as you can see, that just gave a lot of room for this cup. As an example, this is with it tightened all the way up, and this is using their extra clip. Just because the clip is there does not mean that it is needed for your body or your breast shape. And this is a perfect example of this. I can actually use this on the tightest setting. You can tell that my cups are properly supported, whereas this one is kind of pulling away. So if I do the leaning test here, This cup is going to shimmy inwards because the cup is not actually supporting it all the way. So again, just because a bra has a feature doesn't mean you have to use it. You need to do what is best for your shape and your anatomy and what fits you the best. So now that the pumps are in, these straps are pretty tight because as I'm pulling on this, I can feel it lifting that back. So you want this flat. They're not completely tightened, they're not completely loose. Looking at the band, it's still flat around here, but just like with the Davin and Adley Amelia, you can tell it's not quite touching anymore at my rib cage. It's not completely up under the pumps, but it's not quite right either. So turning to the side, doing the bra fit check, you can see the pumps are actually moving with the bra as I'm pulling it out. It is too large of a gap. And then honestly, right here, that's the base of the LV. So it's still within the cup, but then that band is curling under. So when you're doing this and it's moving your cups, you already know. That's too big. Okay, we've talked about what bras look like when they fit or when they're slightly off and just how things are going there. Now let's talk about measuring for your proper bra fit. The boob or bust calculator, which is what I'm going to link you to, actually takes 4 measurements. So it's not just the simple band and then the bust. In fact, we're going to take 2 of the band. So you want it to be completely flat, right up against the rib cage, all the way around. Keep in mind, doing this over clothing is going to make your measurements larger than they actually are. So ideally, doing this at home when you can be without clothing is the best way to get these measurements. You're going to take your measuring tape and pull it as tight as it can go. It's going to feel like if you simply took a breath that your measuring tape is going to snap. So you would, at that point, document that. You're going to do the exact same measurement, except now you can either take a breath and tighten it back up a little bit, because with the breath is going to be kind of big. So you can do it that way and take that measurement, or to verify that that was done correctly and that it won't be too tight, you would sit there and do 2 fingers in and take that measurement. You would then use that measurement and plug that into the calculator. So now we have 2 band sizes. For bust, make sure I'm laying it right. You're going to come higher up on the back, and you're going to go to the widest point of your breast tissue, or where it's the most full. For a lot of people, that's across the nipples, but if it's higher up, lower down, you would just judge based on where your anatomy sits, what's the most fullest part of that breast. For this one, you don't want to be too tight. If you're sitting there squeezing in your breast tissue, you're going to get a cup that is far too small. So simply lightly drape it across. It needs to be flat still, all the way around, without digging into anything, and then you would take that measurement. Now, holding this after you've gotten that measurement, and you're going to lean forward. So what this does is all of the migrated tissue from a poorly fitted bra that is migrated into your armpits or even into your back is going to be pushed forward by gravity. That way we can capture that true bust size and not continue to compress them into your spine. Now that you've got your UK size, you can use my sizing chart to convert that to the size in your country. But when you're using just the measurements alone to pick a bra, when you're picking a band, you're going to go with that smaller measurement, because 9 times out of 10, the bands for these companies are very stretchy. So going on the smaller end of that band size and making sure that you're within that range. And then for your bust, your fullest bust that we captured, because again, we're wanting to keep all the migrated tissue up where it belongs. Your fullest bust would be the bust that you're looking for in a bra when you're trying to check their sizing charts and how you would fit. Keep in mind, just because a calculator throws out a 32D does not mean that a 32D fits everyone the same, or that every brand makes a 32D the same. Be sure to check their sizing charts, that way you don't end up purchasing too many bras that truly don't fit. I hope this helps. I'm going to link the blog down below in the description, that way you have access to all of those charts and those recommendations. And from here forward, I hope you have a great pumping journey.